afternoon, everybody. How are we all doing? Look how gorgeous this is. It is so sunny and so warm today. It is absolutely beautiful. And happy Easter to everybody as well if you do celebrate it. So it's Easter Sunday and I'm just going for a bit of a walk in the woods. And it's so warm, really warm, absolutely beautiful. So all of the bluebells are out now, well and truly, and everything is just completely green. It's beautiful. But I've had a really interesting week actually, because I've actually found out quite a little bit of information, particularly regarding the screamer wood, part of the wood. So I've actually found out Bradley Woods actually had a sanatorium. Yep, you heard it. It had a sanatorium. So from what I've gathered, so it was founded in 1917, and from sort of before 1948, it was sort of a tuberculosis hospital for sort of the World War One, World War Two, and sort of after that, it then became known as Bradley Sanatorium, and it ended up where it actually shut down in 1978. So really interesting. I also have found quite a few pictures as well. And in 1978, eventually it was knocked down. So now there is actually a housing estate on there now. It's a brand new housing estate. Absolutely gorgeous. But I actually clean in one of the houses on that housing estate as well, which is really interesting. But yeah, so it's absolutely fascinating, it really is. And I found out somebody's testimonial as well, because from what they've said, their grandfather was in there, particularly in, I think it was roughly around 1948. I'll double check the dates and things, but he was actually in World War One and ended up being gassed. So quite a few times he ended up being a patient in there. And according to this person as well, their father was in there as well, I think it roughly in the 70s. But when it did shut down in 1978, a lot of the patients, they were sort of long stay patients with sort of mental health conditions and things. So they ended up going to St Luke's Hospital, which was in Crossley Moor. It's now been knocked down itself, so that's no longer there. So yeah, so really fascinating. And as I said, I found quite a few pictures of Bradley Sanatorium as well, so really interesting, and it's quite fascinating. So regarding screamer part of the wood, so the screamer part is known because during the night in particular, people have heard screams and unusual noises. So when I said before that I think Bradley Woods, should I say, is haunted, this is where one of the stories comes from, which is why it's actually known as Screamer. So really fascinating. And actually, I do actually love history, so I love finding out all these pictures. And as I said, the pictures that I have found are really fascinating as well, because there's one which you'll see, and it's loads of patients as well. So there's nurses, there's patients, and they were having a day out in Meltham. So yeah, fascinating. I love history like that, and particularly on my doorstep as well. I haven't necessarily found anything out about the bomb that was dropped over Bradley Wood yet. I'm still researching that, so I am going to look into that more. Sadly, as you can see behind me, the horse isn't there today, so he must be hiding from the warm weather, which I don't blame him, to be honest. It is very warm, but it's absolutely stunning. So if I just turn this camera around 2 minutes, and as you can see, everything is bright. There are lots and lots of bluebells. Everything is green. You can hear the birds singing. And as I said, the weather is absolutely wonderful. And there's Max on his way. He's not doing his mad dash as much today. So yeah, I think he's He's finding it a little bit warm today, which it is. He's been sort of following me around a little bit because I've been working in the garden a little bit. So I've been, I can also show you some pictures of that eventually, but I've been creating my own greenhouse with my partner's help. So literally just wood and a paint and decorator sheet. Somebody said that would work as insulation, and especially like the white or cream ones, the whiter the better. It actually allows the sun to come through, so it gives it that heat. So it's a bit like a polytunnel sort of thing, but in a cube shape. So really great, because I've got courgettes, I've got peppers growing, I've got Brussels sprouts growing, potatoes. I've also got an aubergine to plant as well. There's quite a few different things which I enjoy being self-sufficient and growing things myself. So when it comes down to it, I sort of tend to try and look at myself as a bit of a Felicity Kendall, if you know who that is, The Good Life. So yeah, so it's absolutely fascinating and I really enjoy it. And growing things myself, I appreciate it a lot more. And I've noticed in particular the things that you grow, especially vegetables and fruit and things, it tastes so much more fresher than what it does from supermarkets. So, which is another reason why I'm trying my hardest this year, especially to try and grow as many things. I've also got a bay window in my house, so last year I was really successful with them. So I've got tomatoes growing, I've got cucumbers. Trying to think what else I've got. I've got a cherry tree coming. So yeah, absolutely excited. And the older I've got as well, the more interesting it's become. It's like a bit of a hobby now, which I'm really enjoying it. I think because of the appreciation of growing something yourself and it being successful and tasting good as well, it makes all the difference. There's quite a few people in here today, so if I have to shut off the camera, it's mainly because I've got Max that is very curious in other dogs, and not every other dog is happy with him. So I still haven't managed to find the deer yet. I'm still trying my hardest to look out for them. So supposedly they are still here, but I've not had the chance to sort of see them yet. It's just so vast, so big and so wild now, particularly with everything going green and flourishing. It's quite exciting. But yeah, and the amount of bluebells as well is absolutely stunning. As you can see, hopefully, behind me, there's loads and loads, and they go as far through the wood as possible. It's absolutely stunning. It's just so beautiful and so peaceful. I probably say this on every video. The place in where I want to be. Wow, this is absolutely beautiful. You can probably hear all the birds singing. Max is still on the hunt for squirrels and he's still got no chance. He hasn't clicked on yet. But wow. I mean, it is so warm today. It really is so warm. I know I've got my jacket on, but wow. Really is the start of summer. Absolutely wonderful. I'll have to show you some more pictures of these guys. It's amazing. So I hope everybody's week has been brilliant. Mine's been really busy this week. I've been busy booking more clients in as well, so I've literally not got much space at all, which is absolutely fantastic to see. I've only been at this just over 3 weeks now, nearly 4 weeks, and so much more happier still. I'm really, really happy, and things have not changed. My feelings have not changed. I don't regret my decision at all to go self-employed. In actual fact, it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. And so, yeah, been quite a few sort of woodpeckers, and it almost looked like a bit of a kingfisher sort of looking bird that was sort of climbing on the trees and sort of flying from tree to tree. There's also been a couple of tawny owls as well, which I've caught my eye on, but I'm just looking now because all the butterflies are coming out as well. There's bees. It's just absolutely beautiful, beautiful to look at. And hopefully you can hear all those birds as well. But going back to my week, so yes, it's still been enjoyable. I've really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to do another week, to be honest with you. I think once everything builds up, and especially the finances build up and things, I think I'll be okay. There's always that worry, I think, with being self-employed or going self-employed, that you can obviously never guarantee the work. But then again, if, for example, you lose part of your work, you're always going to gain more. And so far at the moment, within space of 3 weeks, I'm full and I'm thriving, and I've had such amazing comments from people as well, how great that I've been doing and how they've been finding their home absolutely wonderful and spotless. And it's that appreciation as well, so it makes me want to do this job even more, which is brilliant. And especially when it gets to the summer months as well, so I can literally, with being self-employed, make my own hours, and it's just fantastic because I can actually allocate myself to have that time off as well, to be able to go on walks like this. So yeah, a lot more things in nature in particular are interesting me a lot more now, and it's that freedom in it. We all want that freedom to be able to do what we want to do. And this is quite amusing as well. It's almost like little mini trees. So if you look at these here, they really do look like mini trees. They're quite amazing. But this is just absolutely beautiful. I love this. So stunning. But going back to the information that I found out as well, so behind me here is where the estate is. So there's a ginnel sort of up at the top here, and if you go through there, here is roughly behind the trees is the housing estate, which is actually where the Huddersfield Sanatorium was, or Bradley Sanatorium was. So again, absolutely fascinating with that information that I found. I am going to try and look into this a little bit more as to sort of why. I don't understand it, why they spend so many years building a huge building like a hospital, for example. You know, a building like that that could have been used for, say, I don't know, studying, or, you know, people could have learned agriculture or forestry in those buildings. They could have used them for something, surely, rather than building them having them open for so long and then all of a sudden knocking them down again. I don't understand why councils do this, because surely it'd be cheaper to use the buildings for something, you know, rather than demolishing them all of a sudden. And it annoys me a little bit, I guess, because there's so many buildings within Huddersfield, so many houses as well, which there's a few near us actually. One in particular which is now, I don't know if it's the right word, condemned, but it was in a fire once. It's now derelict and all boarded up and it's never been used. And they've never done anything about it. So like those particular buildings, there's so many that surely they could be used for something. Have you got a lot of buildings in your area, you know, that have just been left? You know, it's like these abandoned houses that people go and investigate in, and it fascinates me how some of them people have just left everything, you know, all paintings and cutlery, plates, clothing, books, shoes, you know, possessions which I guess a lot of them can be worth things, and like even worth something in terms of like personal value, not just necessarily monetary value. You know, it fascinates me that people just go and just, you know, for what reason have they just left everything? I have to say as well, another thing, from walking around these woods, the smell of the bluebells is absolutely intoxicating again as well. And I actually found out from a friend who I met and bumped into. So the actual bluebells, I'll show you one here. I didn't know this, but they're actually part of the hyacinth family. So if you have a look at the tubes, so the little bells, so they're actually, if you look at hyacinth, they're actually got the same tubes on them as well. So which is why, particularly the blue ones, why they smell so sweet and fragrant. It almost like you can compare it to the smell of hyacinths. It's wonderful. But yeah, that's something else I've learnt today. Bluebells are actually part of the hyacinth. So yeah, and the other thing as well with bluebells, while we're on the subject of them, there are actually so many different types of bluebells. There's not just one, there's like loads, because I've actually seen, I found this out last year when I saw them, but there's some pink ones, there's white ones as well. Wow, look at this. I wondered what the rustling noise was, and it was actually a squirrel, and it amazes me the acrobatics on them, because you can see them literally jumping from one tree to another. Some of the branches are tiny, so you wouldn't have thought they'd hold the weight of this squirrel, and they literally do. But yeah, it's amazing to sort of see them going from one tree to another, running up and down. And then there's been a couple of times where Max hasn't seen it, but I did, and they've been doing rings round trees and sort of chasing after each other as well. It's just beautiful. I really do love it at this time of year. But like somebody else said, they'd actually come from Elland, and so they sort of travelled to get here, and they said this is absolutely amazing. We never even knew how big this was, and I think people underestimate how big Bradley Woods actually is, because there are so many different routes in here. it really is fascinating. And when you do think of the history, so you think of the sanatorium, on the pictures you'll notice it's not a small building, it's quite a big building. But I think quite a few people passed away as well, because as I said before, 1948, the sanatorium, it was a tuberculosis hospital. And of course medication back then wasn't as good as what it is now. And so quite a few people passed away. And there was also like during the war as well. So the story that I told you of the gentleman who'd said his grandfather was in there, and yeah, so it ends up where quite a few people from World War One in particular, they had gone in with wounds and things from gas attacks. So they housed quite a few long-term patients that were going in and out of the hospital. But it'd be quite interesting to find more people and their accounts as well as to the hospital, and you know, sort of the history of it as well, what they remember. I mean, it's like the one at St Luke's, for example, at Crossland Mill, which I'll have to have a look at the dates and things as to when it actually, because that's now a housing estate, but that got demolished. And I remember my grandfather being in there. So my grandfather had Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease, and he regularly went into St Luke's Hospital. And I remember going with my mum several times over and visiting him. And it was a really nice building. There were sections of it though that where people had quite severe mental conditions, bipolar and things, and were quite regularly admitted and kept in there. And yeah, so the thing that makes me wonder is, where did all these patients go? Where did they all go? You know, those that were in there a long time in locked facilities and things, you know, where did they end up going? Who knows? So this is the area, guys, where, as you will see, we have Screamer at number 4. And as you can see, this is actually how big Bradley Woods is. So you've got all these different paths here. And there is Screamer. Fascinating. Oh. So I've just got onto the main path now, heading home. And I can't believe how warm it is. It must be at least 20 degrees. And the sky, as you can see, is absolutely beautiful blue. It's amazing. I'm just watching where Max has been going. There's been a couple of dogs this afternoon and they've not been friendly at all. And it actually amazes me a little bit, why do people let the dogs off if they're not friendly? Max wouldn't hurt a fly, he really wouldn't. Wouldn't even hurt a bird or an owl or anything. And yet, other people's dogs, I think, they're just so aggressive with him. Whoops, sorry Max. Nearly tripping me up there. There is so many areas as well, so many different areas where we have so much beauty to see, you know. So many places of water, so many waterfalls. Supposedly not far away from here in Huddersfield, there is actually some waterfalls which I'm going to have a look more into. Hopefully I can maybe try and find them, because we are actually stretching our routes a little bit in terms with Max, so there's certain areas that we're actually taking him in the car. He's not very keen on it though, he really doesn't like the car journey, but once we get there he's absolutely fine. So I'm hoping the more beautiful weather that comes, the more that we can sort of do these little journeys. And we've also been on about camping as well, because we absolutely love camping. And so this will be the first year that we actually take Max with us. So that's going to be quite interesting. How he's going to react to that, I really don't know. Hopefully the dogs are alright with him, because that really would be a little bit of a sad moment if we go camping and he doesn't get on with one of the dogs there, or they, should I say, they don't get on with him. Ooh, I'm getting a little bit out of breath because it's so warm. Still haven't seen the deer yet, I've probably said that already, but hopefully I will do soon. What I need to do is get up earlier, take Max earlier, and then I might actually see them early in the morning. But oh, he's absolutely shattered, bless him. He's going to sleep well tonight, as am I. Oh, you can hear all the bikes and all the quad bikes. This really annoys me, certain places that they actually bring the quad bikes out. Hopefully they won't destroy too much of the wood, because that really is, I hate it. But I will love you and leave you. And as you can see, absolutely beautiful still. I hope you really have enjoyed your weekend and enjoyed your Easter weekend as well. Hopefully you enjoy that chocolate as well, which I certainly will. I've got 2 Easter eggs at home with my name on it, and they are well deserved this week. And hopefully I will see you all in the next video. Hopefully it'll be like this as well. So take care, have a brilliant week, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye.